Well, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing absolutely wonderful. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Josh Pollock. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? How you doing today, brother?
Dude, I'm dragging a little bit today. I
Yeah,
don't know if you can tell my eyes. I'm dragging a little bit, but I'm doing good, man. How about you?
that hit me about like 5 minutes before we got on here. It's like, man, I could really go for a nap.
Man, that is not great timing, Josh.
I
Not
know
great
it. I
timing.
know it. I'm livened up. I'm ready to go. Don't you worry about it.
Good. Well, guys, if you're joining for the first time, welcome to VIP After Hours. Myself, Josh, often Nate. We jump in here on Fridays and we talk about the week. We normally have a different topic every week that we kind of walk you guys through. What happened in the market, how our personal trading did, what we're excited about. So if you guys are here, don't hesitate to say hey in the chat. Looks like we got Dennis in here. Alex said happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, my friend.
Somebody had caught a $200 candle. Beautiful. Beautiful. There
Is
he is.
our
What's
Robin?
up?
Is our
Robin.
Robin?
What's up, Cracker Jacks?
Cracker Jacks.
What's
Oh,
going
you
on,
know,
buddy?
we were just doing the thing, man. Just doing the thing.
Doing the thing.
We got John Thomas on. Cool. Well, guys, somewhat of a weird week. I know I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. Somewhat of a weird week, but maybe every week is weird for Nasdaq. We had big news on Wednesday. We had potential, or actually, we did have news with China and Japan. Government is still shut down. A lot of finger pointing. It's the Democrat. It's got to be the Democrats. Like it's got to be their fault. Let's take a wild guess here, but it was interesting. We had not only do we have consolidation, but we also had some massive moves this week. So how did you guys fare? How did we do this week?
Pretty solid week, man. I did have a mistake a little bit
What?
earlier in FOMC day. Got caught in a little bit of news, but had a good day yesterday. Got back into a pretty solid position, man. I can't complain. So aside from the usual of taking dumb trades, breaking rules, damn good
What?
week.
Maybe you
Why
should
would
be
you?
on tap.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that, man? You telling me that
Agreed, man.
you make mistakes?
I make mistakes. Got a little greedy. Tried to capitalize on what I thought was going to be a new all-time high after rate cuts, and it dropped like a freaking rock, man.
Well, you probably said it out loud. Nasdaq knew what
Yep.
you were gonna do.
Exactly.
How about you, Nate? Right when you're taking a drink.
This week was a great week for me. I made ended up the week just about 6K profit on the week.
Nice.
So I'm feeling honestly this week was great. I mean, we started out I think if you zoom out a little bit, you can kind of always make sense about what's going on here.
Yeah.
So the week opens, with a gap up, which if you want, I can share my screen and
Sure.
we could review this, for the people, so we can kind of review this price action just to give everybody a quick
FTP for the people.
overview here. Let me see if I can share. There it is.
Teach us something. Show us something.
Go
All right.
on and learn us a little bit here,
Let's take a look
Nathaniel.
at the market open this week. Okay, obviously opened with a big range gap. All right, after spending a lot of time down here at the lows, having kind of a big macro failed breakdown. All right, so we sweep the lows, got liquidity down here. All right, and from there, and again, it's the general pattern of uptrends. Made a new high, back tested the previous highs, made a new high. Now, the reason that I think going into this week, I was not expecting once we hit FOMC. Once we hit FOMC, the rates and the Fed rates, I didn't think we were probably going to push up. I was hoping. I think that this was all a pricing in. I think we knew. I mean, it was pretty obvious the rates were probably going to get lowered. All right. I think it was pretty obvious.
It was like a 95% chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious. And so I think a lot of this was priced in to be able to to push up. So obviously we had a push down, and I think during the rate cut and then push back up, but we just kind of continued through this range, right, until yesterday where we finally made a break of this range. Came down. Now we're still kind of going further down. I think we're going to attempt to fill this gap. It could be filled probably next week. We may come down and fill this gap. But the market can only move up so long, right, before we get liquidity. All right, and zooming out here a little bit, we can kind of see each, we're going over this in TAP right now, pretty much for the whole week in TAP. We've talked about kind of how to read liquidity, how to identify where liquidity is sitting in the market, which is what we've been doing. And so, yeah, I think overall, this has all worked out pretty well for the week. Obviously, a little bit of ranging between Tuesday and Wednesday here, but still, after the market open and sweeping the lows, still some pretty solid recoveries in between. But
Nate, what is TAP? You mentioned that a second ago for our newer followers here.
Yes. So TAP is we used to have a program called LTA, which is Live Trading Arena. And, for a long time, I wanted Live Trading Arena to be turned into something where there was a higher degree of accountability, maybe more of a smaller group and more advanced, right? But it stands for Trading Advanced Protocol, Traders Advanced Protocol. All right, something like that. And basically, it's our elite mastermind program. Stop laughing. It's our elite mastermind program. All right, it's by application only, and it's something that it's a group for traders who maybe have been trading for a couple of years. They've gotten some past props, and now they want to kind of dive into more advanced market mechanics and advanced market topics, kind of building upon the fundamentals that they learned inside of EAT. And so in TAP, there's accountability. I have access to everybody's accounts. I can see the trades that everybody takes, and everybody knows everybody's profitability for the week. So it's basically like the upper room inside of Black Gold.
Woo!
Ew.
Second you said accountability, people started to shrivel.
Yeah.
What?
I asked everybody today, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you trade differently because you know that I'm watching your trades? And I check it I check periodically throughout the day. I'll check 3 or 4 times a day everybody's account to see if they've taken losses. Are they done? Are they trying to revenge trade? And so I'm kind of like the risk manager for people in there. And so it's been very fun. And I think today we kind of pulled off the Band-Aid because this was the first week. And today we kind of pulled off the Band-Aid where I went into everybody's account with the group live with everybody in TAP. So, for the first time, kind of everybody was seeing everybody's accounts, seeing the trades that they were taking. And so I was, it was kind of funny. I'm like, I hope this makes everybody feel a little bit uncomfortable because that's what we want. We want it to feel a little bit uncomfortable, to, again, get that idea of, transparency out of the way and to know that we're all working together here. So I think it's been great, and I think it's just going to get better from here.
Just as a testament to that, I mean, I absolutely stick more to the rules when I'm trading in the morning with the EAT group because everyone's watching, So I think it's really tempting to, like this is just like behind the scenes, like no one will ever know. But with something like TAP, I mean, everybody gonna know. Everybody gonna know now. Hey, you should get Josh in there. Josh, we're gonna just go ahead and get you a little bit of accountability in there, buddy. I give these guys a hard time, dude, because we'll take our trade in the morning and we'll be done, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" Oh well, Joel made me. It's always blaming. We're always blaming Joel.
I don't know what you mean.
And I'm like, Joel, what are you doing? Well, Josh made. What is?
Hey. I have been the voice of reason this week in talking Joel out of doing dumb things.
Is it
also talking myself
like,
out of doing dumb things. So.
Is it working or no?
It kind of worked today. He got into an extra trade, but I got him to close it out.
Yeah, if only there was like a program you could follow.
If only.
My goodness. So I wanted to, I think actually this is kind of a cool topic. We can jam on this for a minute. Alex had said in the chat, like, it's impressive, Nate, that you made 6 grand this week, but you're still working a full-time job, expiring for a guy like me working a day job, etc. So
Nate
let's talk
works.
about, yeah.
More than you.
I mean, you're in your office a lot. I don't know what you're doing in there, but you're in your office a lot. Let's talk about that because we actually recommend that 99.99999% of people keep a source of income when they're trading. So there's a lot of reasons for that, but let's uh let's jam on some of the psychology there. Um, Nate, why don't you go for it,
Yep.
man?
So for me, you know, the way that you have to be able to do it is you have to be able, to have that set standard time that you're trading, or those, those setups that you're looking for, um, because and Alex, like you said, like your brain cells, you get a little bit, especially if you're trying to work and do multiple things, your brain can only handle so much in terms of capacity. And so, by first off, you have to limit the amount of time that you're trading. And I think it's good to have a job too, because that means you can't just sit there in front of the screen all day, because left up to your own devices, you probably will,
Yeah.
right? And so I only have a certain amount of time I can trade because I have other things to do. And so that's going to limit the amount of trades that you can take. And if you're have very specific entry models and you're only trading for a window, like a specific window, it's going to dramatically help your trading, because you're only going to be able to look at so much information, because your brain can only take so much. When you're trading, you're not trying to be wrong, you're trying to be right. And so your brain can only stay in that state of right for so long, right? Before your memory starts to decrease, before your focus starts to decrease. And so that's why it's vital to limit your time trading. I can't, I talked to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about how they trade all day just because they're in front of the computer. And I'm like, well, that's just not smart, because there's no way that you're going to sit there for 7 to 8 hours or whatever with your screens
No.
open the entire time, and you're going to be seeing everything accurately, right?
Start
So you have
imagining
to,
opportunities,
yeah.
without a doubt.
It's
Now, of
funny.
course, there's a lot of opportunities in the market, but you need to find that opportunity in your window, for the time period that you can focus on, right? Before your focus starts decreasing. Every random trade I've ever taken is either when I'm tired or when I've been trading too long, because then, yeah, you get bored.
Just hammered drunk.
Yeah.
Like, just right.
Now
It's
the other,
funny. It's funny. It's funny you say that. Like, you're trying to always be right. Like my wife says, I've never been right.
yeah,
So there's that.
you should have seen me before treatment.
Yeah. So that's a good spot. And then the
Well,
other
I want
stuff
to
that
iterate on something else here too, really
yeah.
quickly. Like when you're dealing with things like prop firms, which I think a lot of people trade with prop firms. It's incredibly difficult to live off of prop firms, because the reality is you're abiding by the number one, by their rules. Number two, your drawdown in theory is not that large, right? Even if you had a $25,000 account, the drawdown still, I mean, 25,000. It's very easy to lose 25,000, right? I've lost 15,000 in a day, right? It's not difficult. You can do it.
That's it.
Yeah, and so especially when you're trying to trade full time, like I don't even feel like I'm necessarily ready yet. I'm getting there, right? But I think for anybody to go full time, it's got to be with something other than a prop. It's got to be on either a live traded prop where you have, $50,000, $100,000 in drawdown that you can sustain, and then number two, yeah, you got to have some kind of a nest egg to be able to support yourself, because I've listened to pro traders who've been talking for 10 years that still feel like at any moment they can go on tilt and blow a ton of money. And so having that nest egg and that safety is going to help your trading, because you can't trade, trading is incredibly lucrative and you can make a lot from it, right? But nothing can be based upon that. Meaning, like, every
Uh,
trade that I look at, it's not about how much I can win, right? It's about how much I can lose and what is the move, what is happening in the move. Forget the money. The
I
money will
think.
come.
Well, I think it's hard for people to shave 20 years off my face. I know, right? I think it's hard to forget the money. And I think for a lot of people, like if they're trading because if they don't win, they can't make their rent or put gas in their car or groceries or whatever it might be. If I don't win, I can't get another prop because this is all my money. That puts like a very, very negative pressure on you. We see it the same thing
100%.
with automations. Like if this automation doesn't make 40% this month, then I'm gonna cancel or whatever. You put this negativity on it and this like financial pressure. Number one, you're not gonna be happy. Number two, you're not gonna be fulfilled. Number three, you are not gonna be trading or operating your business from a place of abundance and prosperity. You know,
Yeah.
like I can almost pinpoint in our community the people that are struggling financially based on how they react to a winning trade and a losing trade. Like almost like spot on. I bet I can guess how much money you've got in your bank account.
Yeah.
You know, because we're if this doesn't happen, this is the negative consequence, right? Versus being completely neutral, completely robotic. I'm just going to go through the motions because the motions have proven to be profitable. That makes
Still
sense?
riding the roller coaster, man.
Ride that roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean it will
I need a
eat you
beer.
alive if you don't do it right, if you don't have that support. Like because every loss that's now money that I'm not making. Yeah, that's now money that, because you're so focused on the money, it will keep you up at night, it will make every trade you get in will make your heart rate increase a little bit more, But I know today if I lost every prop, not just because of the money that I have, but also because I still have a job. It's not the end of the world. If I lost all of them today, it's really not the end of everything.
Yeah, you're gonna trade 10 times more clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think, Josh?
Well, there's a lot to unravel there. I mean, Nate's on base, especially whenever it comes to transitioning to like earning your full time income from trading. Uh, I think there's a lot of pros and cons whenever it comes to props. Obviously, I think longer term, everyone's goal should be to get to that live account, have their own cash account that they're trading. But as a newer trader, I think there's a lot to be said about the rules that most props have and teaching you a little bit of extra accountability, a little bit of extra discipline, and sticking to those rules. And while it may not be the income level that you're looking for, you can still earn a livable wage from props.
Oh
But
yeah, for
on
sure.
the other side of it, again, you got to make sure you're not putting that extra pressure on yourself of if I don't win this trade, I'm not going to be able to make my rent or
Yeah.
buy groceries, put gas in the tank.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money from props. It's all about perspective, and consistency over time. Because it's like even if you make 25 grand in a month, it's like that's in the grand scheme of things. It's again, it's I know it's all relative, but 25,000 doesn't really go. That you maybe, I mean, with my expenses, I have 5 6 months maybe, and that's of not if you didn't make anything else, right? So that's
Bro, we need to up those expenses, bro. That's like 2 months.
I said maybe. That's assuming nothing, nothing else spent or whatever, but it's again that's just not that's like yeah, that's eating ramen and like yeah, you just don't want to put yourself in that situation. Like
What's
it's
wrong with
better to
eating
take it
ramen?
slow,
Nothing wrong
you
with
know.
ramen, Nate.
There's something wrong with ramen after 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think I think there's like a huge element of like greed in here as well. Like I know that a lot of people, myself included, like I'm in this category. You'll be up on a trade and like you should be out of it, but you're winning money.
Hmm.
And you start to think, well, what if it just goes down another 100 ticks or up 100 ticks, but my profit goes up 100?
Start seeing
And
dollar signs.
you start seeing dollar signs and you start to, get greedy, then you lose it all. It goes back and you're like, well, now I have to hold on to the trade because now let me at least get back to where I was, not even go the full 100 ticks more. Let me just get back to where I was. Now you're in drawdown. Now you're red. Let me just get back to break even. Let me just get back to break even. I get certainly Nasdaq or gold will get me back to break even. but we start to look at it from a very skewed perspective of, dude, I could go do blank with this money.
Mm-hmm.
If we just go a little bit further, like I could pay off my credit card, like whatever that thought is. But I think that greed is really, really dangerous, both from winning trades and from losing trades. Like
Mm-hmm.
both, it goes both ways on the greed factor. But I think a big part of that is the need of the money. I need to have money. I don't think I made money, and this is probably gonna freak everybody out, but I don't think I really started making like even decent money for like 8, 9 months, maybe. And even then it wasn't like a lot, you know? But there's so many people that won't even give half of that time, won't even give a quarter of that time, you know? Like it's not unheard of for people. Like I saw somebody that was trading like 10, 12 accounts the other day. But dude, like you guys know how easy it is to have $1,000 day? It's very easy. That could be a $12,000 day if you have 12 accounts. It's just like when you're scaling it like that, it becomes very, very easy to start having phenomenal months. You know? That's what I know. That's what I know.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
No doubt. Cool. Well, I mean, as far as EAT goes, we just finished a class. I feel like we're always in a class. We just finished a class last week on Friday. I started trading with those guys here this week. Got another class starting on Sunday. But from the EAT stuff, this was a pretty decent week. We had a couple interesting losses that are just part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, man, like it was a very encouraging week for me, especially with that we had a big win here this morning. So we got that going on.
Great morning.
It was 6 minutes. It's a 6 minute trade.
It was right at 6 minutes. We hit TP.
That always happens, right? It's always exactly
Yeah.
like sometimes it's like an hour or more, but it was a really cool way to end the week. If you guys are not signed up for our next class, you still have a little bit of time. We start on Sunday evening. Just go to our website, blkgldtrading.ai. But what are you guys looking forward to coming up here in the next couple of weeks? What are you looking forward to?
Go ahead, Nate.
Well, next week's a huge news week. So it's the start of a new month. It's a huge news week. I mean, red folders almost every day. And so I'm hoping we can have some volatile markets. Obviously, the market or the government's still shut down, and so we'll see if any of that changes next week. But I'm looking forward to kind of the further development in TAP. We're getting into some things that I've been wanting to get into with the group for a long time, and so I'm stoked for that. And that's kind of the main things.
Nice.
I think I'm most excited about yeah, I mean a new class, but we always have so many fun projects. We have a secret project we just launched our pilot account on. Next week will be the first full week on that new account, first full month on that new account. So I'm excited about that. And then I feel like we're always pushing, like as a company, we're always pushing forward aggressively, not only for ourselves but for like our members and our students. So you can't walk down the office without hearing or talking about like things that we're doing and things that we're building and like how we're helping people. So it's just fun, you know. Even though it's the end of the year, I know that trading technically slows down like mid-December. Institutional money pulls out. If you guys didn't know, from about December 15th to about January 15th, it's really mainly just retail-ish trading. But even with that, I mean, we still have, 4 or 5 weeks of just a lot going on. So it'll be good.
Oh yeah. I think for me, very similar to you, Jordan. We do have the new class starting on Sunday. Always fun getting some new traders in there to work with, start building. But I think right now what I'm most excited about is the secret project we've been working on there. Getting a little bit more activity. Like you said, a new live account starting next week, new month, really getting a lot of data there to start building for ourselves and some of our members beyond, what we've had in place for, this year with kind of the foundation of that project.
Yeah, we've really just on that, like we've really seen that the flow of money in the process for people is very rarely thought about. Like it's just like, well, I just need to like make a bunch of money. Well, why? Because good money, good money, money good.
Money
Well,
good.
good man. Like, well, like what's like the plan? Like, is there like a flow here? Like, how are you fitting this into a process that can kind of amplify? So we do that from a 10,000-foot view, but we're also really, really focused on building that for the community from kind of from like the ground zero. How can you start if you've got $500? Well, what can you do to amplify that? What would that flow look like? How could we speed that up? So all of that to say is that a lot of what we're working on is really designed to amplify profits for people and amplify people's results and truly give them something that can have a really, really solid financial impact. I don't like to say short term. Nothing's technically ever short term, in case you guys are wondering. Like no investment is really technically that short term. Trading, physical trading, manual trading is not short term. Automations aren't short term. They all have to grow and build and like etc. But out of all of that, this is probably the shortest term to really amplify. So it's
So
going
a
to
million
be
overnight,
what's that?
a million overnight, first weekend.
Probably like maybe like 500,000. Yeah.
Something light.
I didn't see any questions pop up. Because if you have a question, if you want to ask myself or Josh or Nate anything, now is the time. But what else, guys? Anything else on your end?
Get in the group if you're not yet. Got a lot of great free resources for you. Start building the foundation if you're newer to trading. See if it even makes sense for you. Personally, I think trading can make sense for everyone if you're willing to, dedicate a bare minimum amount of time to it. It's going to take a little bit longer for you to, probably hit financial goals that you want, dedicating bare minimum time to it. But trading has a place
What
for anybody.
what's an appropriate amount of time? Like, let's say somebody's like, well, I mean, like, I could do maybe like a little bit more than minimum, but like, what's an appropriate amount of time to like get a good result?
I think that's going to really vary from person to person, and it's also going to vary on, what avenue we're focusing on here. If we're talking about, just learning the skill, I mean, you can probably start picking things up, dedicating, 20, 30 minutes a day just to your education. Now, obviously, not all of that will be applicable right off the bat, but, spend a week, 2 weeks studying, getting your education, week, 2 weeks paper trading. I think it's very realistic for people in, 4 week time frame to be hitting the markets with confidence if they have direction behind them.
I think that's kind of the key there is the direction.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that spend a year just kind of 40 years wandering around in the desert like the Israelites, and they still don't accomplish anything. So I think it's like that clarity and direction is a big part of it. Yeah, I agree. I think if somebody's willing to put in, it doesn't even have to be an hour, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day. I think you can start to get to a place where you're going to be really happy with the process.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
mean, especially if you're, you know, not to plug ourselves here again, but free 5 day challenge. If you're
Plug
only
it.
able
Yeah.
to join for 30 minutes, no, you probably won't be able to see every trade play out all the way to take profit or stop loss, but you're going to start getting a feel for the market, what we're looking for, how we're making our decisions, and hopefully be able to start applying that for yourself.
Yeah. I think in 5 days, you should have a good idea of the strategy, how we do what we do, why we do what we do, where to take your profit, where to put your stop, like just the core of the strategy. And you'll have practiced it and seen it enough times where you could probably go do it out on your own. It's not the stopping point, but
Mhm.
like you at least, you've put in some reps and you're like, all right, like I'm kind of getting into a rhythm here.
I mean, I've told this to countless people that ask me the same question. I can teach you the strategy in probably 30 minutes an hour, but that's not the hard part. You're probably going to have to get a little bit used to the software you're going to be using to trade. You're going to have to start really focusing on managing your emotions. And we've talked about this a lot. That's like 80-90% of what's going to make or break you as a trader. Strategy's easy.
Emotions.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't.
Yeah.
That's why like the sociopaths or whatever like do so well. Is they don't have
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like I've said this a million times. I've done studies on this. The majority of times that
Best loser
people-
wins.
Jeez.
But nobody quits or loses in trading because of strategy. It's never that. It's never because of strategy. 90% of people either lose or fail because they overtrade, over leverage, revenge trade, or FOMO. By far. It's never because of strategy.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
We get the occasional ASS poll that's like, well, what makes you think your strategy is so much better? And that's not the thing. That's not what, at least I'm not saying. Josh is probably saying that. I'm not saying that. Like, guys, you could technically go do, there's probably dozens and dozens and dozens of strategies that absolutely could work.
Yeah, so many.
It's not the strategy, you know, like it's what Nate and Josh just said. So, when people leave or they're like, man, I didn't like your guys' strategy, like, I'm not offended by that. Like, that doesn't necessarily offend me. But what you do get here is like, we're almost like a mindset coach that happens to have a strategy. We're almost like mentors that happen to trade. So when I see people like they quit or they're like, dude, this just isn't for me, it's not the strategy. It's not eat or tap or whatever it might be. That's not what failed. What failed was there was some sort of a block or like a barrier on the mental and the emotional side that we weren't able to get past. You know, us and you, us trying to get through to you and you trying to break through that. It's not like every, I shouldn't say every, most strategies can work if applied correctly, right? So it's like you can't go find a better strategy. They're all pretty much the same. If you have the right risk to reward, if you have the right entry, the right tactic, most strategies probably will produce a very similar result, varied by people. That's not the problem here. It's the person. So we spend almost all of our time working on the person. That's why we give people so much shit when like they break the rules or when like they go rogue or whatever. It's it's because it was the mindset that broke. It was the emotions that broke, not the strategy.
And that's kind of what Tap is for, and that's why I think Tap's gonna be so successful because most of the time, if I'm calling out trades, like we looked at somebody's previous week this morning, and out of 5 days, they lost three of them, and I was like, these were good losses. Like these weren't bad losses. So it's not about the fallacy. Is that when you make profit, that means you did something good.
Yeah.
Right? That's a fallacy. And just because you take a loss doesn't mean you did something wrong.
Yep.
And so, we look at every trade individually, in Tap, and I'm there to, honestly, my goal is just to guard people's emotions, to see what trades they're doing and making sure that they're sticking to their rules. Never really about strategy. I mean, we might make small adjustments to the plan, but not really to the strategy.
Really interesting you said that. Um, one of the guys that we've worked with that, I mean, he's working with like 40-50 million dollars, different avenues and avatars. But he said that the other day. He's like, dude, my only goal is to manage the emotions of my traders. That's it. He's like, so there's like things I tell them that is very specific for that, and there's things that I don't tell them that's very specific for that. So this guy won't say his name, won't none of that. One of the things that he's done though is like he's hired people and not taught them hardly anything about trading. And they crush, they dominate, they go so much further, arguably, than professional traders, and they know nothing about trading. You know, like my kid, my 5-year-old, crushes it. Like he just does what he's supposed. He's like, yeah, it's a video game to him. Yeah, buy, sell, buy. Like, so guys, it's such a weird paradigm, but like if you learn less and do less and like just manage your emotions, you will probably outperform people that have read every book on trading, have gone to every trading seminar and watched every YouTube video on trading.
Except best loser wins. That's mandatory.
That's man. Oh yeah. Oh.
Nate's our own in-office Wendy Rhodes billions.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Wow.
Wow.
Well, guys, that's all I've got. I've got another meeting here in a minute, but if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you leave a comment, like it. You know, we're trying to provide as much free content for people as we can on YouTube and social media. If you like the stuff and you're not a part of our Discord, highly recommend you guys do that. It is in the link in our bio, all of that. Come check it out. It's very, very kind of a small, tight-knit group of people in there. But come hang out. If you've not done the 5-day challenge and you'd like to, come hang out with myself and Josh for a week. Learn how we do what we do. I think it'll be very beneficial for you. But I appreciate you guys. Nate and Josh, see you in 37 seconds.
All right.
See you guys.
See y'all.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
And